Episode 20, The Extraction. Marcus stood at the front window, his mother's watch reading 6:17 p.m. 43 minutes until the NYPD officers would knock on Diego's door. 43 minutes until Mrs. Santos would be extracted from her son's apartment, brought to safety. Or Marcus forced the thought away. Agent Johnson had promised a plan. He had to believe that meant something. Behind him, the safe house felt like a mausoleum. Ray sat at the kitchen table, his hands wrapped around a Coke that had gone warm hours ago. Tommy was somewhere upstairs, probably lying on his bed staring at the ceiling. Miguel and Carmen were in her room, though Marcus suspected they weren't sleeping. Nobody could sleep, not with the clock ticking down. Agent Reeves emerged from the kitchen carrying 2 cups of coffee, offering one to Marcus. "You should eat something? Not hungry? Nobody ever is." Reeves took up position beside him at the window. "But your body doesn't care about federal cases or gang leaders. It needs fuel." Marcus took the coffee, just to have something to do with his hands. The street outside was quiet, too quiet. A few cars passed. An elderly woman walked a small dog. Normal Queen's life, completely disconnected from the nightmare they were living. Somewhere across the East River, in the South Bronx, his mother was finishing her shift at the hospital. Walking home through streets that Diego Santos controlled, under surveillance by federal agents she didn't know existed. What if Diego figures it out? Marcus asked. What if he realizes what's happening before 7 o'clock? He won't. Reeves sipped his coffee. The NYPD will conduct the welfare check as a routine follow-up to his missing person report. 2 uniformed officers, completely standard procedure. They'll ask to see Mrs. Santos, confirm she's safe, and offer her the option to leave if she feels uncomfortable. Diego can't refuse without looking suspicious. And if he does refuse, then we have probable cause to enter the residence and conduct a more thorough investigation. Reeves's voice was calm, professional. Either way, she comes out. Marcus wanted to believe him, but he'd seen Diego's face in the federal garage, the cold calculation behind those eyes. Diego Santos didn't survive in the drug business by being predictable. He adapted. He planned. He saw moves before his opponents made them. "My mother worked double shifts for 3 years, Marcus said quietly, so I could go to Colombia, so I could get out. I know. My father made her promise, before he died, get him out. That's what he said. Get him out of the Bronx." Reeves didn't respond immediately. When he did, his voice was gentler. "And now you're here instead." "Now I'm here." Marcus checked the watch again. 6:21 p.m. "Throwing it all away." "You're not throwing anything away. You're testifying against a criminal who was destroying your neighborhood. That takes courage." "Courage?" Marcus laughed bitterly. "My mother doesn't know where I am. She's going to come home tonight and I won't be there. She'll think something happened to me. She'll think Agent Carter's team will notify her tonight, after Mrs. Santos is safe." "And tell her what? That her son gave up his scholarship to testify against a drug dealer? That everything she sacrificed was for nothing?" "That her son did the right thing," Reeves said firmly. "That he saved his friend's life. That he protected a girl from her abusive brother. That he chose justice over personal gain." "Your mother will understand that, Marcus. She raised you to be the kind of man who makes that choice." Marcus wanted to believe that too. But the watch kept ticking and Colombia kept getting further away and his mother's dreams kept crumbling to dust. Upstairs, a door opened. Footsteps on the stairs. Miguel appeared, his face drawn and exhausted. "Carmen's asking about her mother." "Still on schedule," Reeves said. 7 o'clock. That's 40 minutes. Miguel moved to the window, standing on Marcus's other side. 40 minutes for Diego to figure something out, to move her. He won't, Marcus said, though he wasn't sure he believed it. He doesn't know we have a plan. Diego always knows. Miguel's voice was hollow. That's what makes him dangerous. He sees everything, plans for everything. I watched him operate for months, Marcus. He doesn't make mistakes. The kitchen chair scraped. Ray appeared in the doorway, his hands twitching at his sides. "We should be doing something, not just standing here waiting." "There's nothing to do," Reeves said. "The NYPD officers are already en route. The plan is in motion." "The plan?" Ray laughed sharply. "You mean the plan where 2 cops knock on Diego's door and politely ask if his mother wants to leave? That plan?" "It's the only plan that works legally," Reeves said. We can't extract her by force without cause. She has to choose to leave. And if Diego tells her Carmen was kidnapped? If he's already poisoned her mind against us? The question hung in the air. Marcus hadn't considered that possibility, that Mrs. Santos might refuse to leave because she believed Diego's version of events, that she might think Miguel and his friends had stolen her daughter. Then Carmen will have to speak to her, Agent Martinez said, emerging from the kitchen. We can arrange a phone call. Let Mrs. Santos hear her daughter's voice, know she's safe, and came voluntarily. Carmen can barely speak, Miguel said. She's been crying since we got here. Every time she tries to talk about her mother, she breaks down. Then we'll give her time, Martinez said gently. But if it comes to that, she'll find the strength. She's stronger than you think. Marcus checked the watch. 6:28 p.m. 32 minutes. The front door opened. Agent Johnson entered with Dennis Walsh, the prosecutor from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Both looked grim. The NYPD team is in position, Johnson announced. They'll approach at exactly 7 o'clock. We have surveillance on the building. If Diego tries to leave with his mother before then, they'll intercept. What about after? Tommy's voice came from the stairs. He descended slowly, his face pale. What happens after they take her? She'll be brought here, Walsh said. To the safe house. We've cleared it with the U.S. cop attorney. Once she's in federal custody, she'll be offered the same protection as the rest of you. And if she refuses? Tommy pressed. If she doesn't want protection? Then we'll set her up in a hotel under a false name for 48 hours while we explain the situation, Johnson said. But I don't think she'll refuse. Not once she understands what Diego has done. What he's been doing for years. Carmen appeared at the top of the stairs. Her eyes were red, her face blotchy from crying. Miguel moved immediately to the bottom of the staircase, reaching up to take her hand as she descended. Is it time? Carmen's voice was barely a whisper. 30 minutes, Johnson said softly. Carmen, I need you to understand something. When your mother arrives, she may be confused, angry. Diego has probably told her his version of events. You'll need to be strong enough to tell her the truth. I know. Carmen's hand tightened on Miguel's. I know what he's told her. That I was kidnapped, that these boys are criminals, that he's trying to save me. Can you face her? Tell her what really happened? Carmen was silent for a long moment. Then she straightened her shoulders, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. She's my mother. She deserves the truth, even if it destroys her. The room fell quiet. Marcus could hear the clock on the wall ticking, each second a tiny hammer blow. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the Queen's Street in shades of orange and gold. Beautiful and completely wrong for this moment. There's something else, Walsh said. Diego's lawyers have filed an emergency motion demanding Carmen appear in court tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for a welfare check. The judge has granted it. Carmen, you'll need to appear before a federal magistrate and confirm you came to us voluntarily. Tomorrow? Carmen's voice rose. But that means Diego will know for certain you cooperated, Johnson finished. Yes, the court appearance will be public record. Media will likely be present. Your face will be on the news by tomorrow afternoon. And my mother? Carmen's voice cracked. If she's still with Diego tomorrow morning, she won't be, Johnson said firmly. We're getting her out tonight, but Carmen, you need to understand what this means. Once you appear in court tomorrow, there's no going back. Diego will know you betrayed him. Publicly, legally, irrevocably. Marcus watched Carmen's face cycle through emotions. Fear, grief, determination. She looked so young in that moment, barely 18, forced to make choices no teenager should face. I know, Carmen said finally. I've known since we ran. There was never any going back. Miguel pulled her close, his arms wrapping around her. Over her head, his eyes met Marcus's. The guilt there was devastating. Miguel blamed himself for everything, for dating Carmen, for working for Diego, for starting the chain of events that led them here. But Marcus didn't blame Miguel. He blamed Diego Santos. He blamed a system that let men like Diego terrorize neighborhoods for years without consequence. He blamed poverty and limited options and the invisible walls that kept people trapped in places like the South Bronx. 6:42 p.m., 18 minutes. Agent Reeves's radio crackled. Team 1 in position. Target building under surveillance. No movement detected. Johnson lifted her own radio. Copy that. Maintain position. Approach at 1900 hours. Ray moved to the window beside Marcus. His hands were still twitching, that nervous energy that had been building since the warehouse. What if it goes wrong? It won't. But what if it does? What if Diego? Then we deal with it, Marcus said. Same as we've been dealing with everything else. Together. Ray's laugh was bitter. Together. Right. Because that's worked so well so far. Marcus turned to face his friend. We're alive, aren't we? We got Carmen out. We got the evidence to federal agents. We're doing what we set out to do. And we lost everything in the process, Ray said. Your scholarship, our families, our future. For what? So Diego can clean out his stash houses and walk free? He won't walk free, Walsh interjected. The raids tonight will give us additional evidence. Your photographs provide probable cause. Miguel's testimony details the operation. Carmen witnessed drug packaging. We're building a RICO case that will put Diego Santos in federal prison for 20 years minimum. If it works, Ray said. If the evidence is admissible, if the case doesn't fall apart, if Diego doesn't find some way to... Enough. Tommy's voice cut through the room. Ray, shut up. Just shut up. Everyone turned. Tommy stood in the middle of the living room, his fists clenched at his sides. His face was flushed, anger radiating from him in waves. You think we don't know the risks? Tommy continued. You think we don't understand what we gave up? We all made the same choice, Ray. We all decided this was worth it. So stop second-guessing and start acting like you meant it. I didn't ask for this, Ray shot back. I didn't ask to be captured at that warehouse. I didn't ask Diego's crew to... He stopped abruptly, his face going pale. The room went deadly silent. To what? Marcus asked quietly. Ray, what happened when they had you? Ray's hands started twitching faster. Nothing. They just held me. I told you. You're lying. Miguel's voice was flat. You've been lying since they let you go. What did they do to you? I said nothing. Ray's voice rose. Why does everyone keep asking me that? Because something happened, Carmen said softly. Because you haven't been the same since. Because your hands won't stop shaking and you can't sleep, and every time someone mentions Diego, you look like you're going to be sick. Ray's face crumpled. For a moment, Marcus thought he might break down completely. Then he straightened, his jaw tight. They didn't hurt me? Not really. They just made it clear what would happen if I talked, what they would do to my grandmother, how easy it would be to burn down her house while she slept, how nobody would ever prove it was them. The silence that followed was suffocating. Jesus, Ray, Tommy whispered. They described it, Ray continued, his voice shaking. In detail. How the fire would start in the kitchen, how the smoke would fill her bedroom, how she'd die in her sleep, peacefully, and nobody would know it was murder. And then they let me go. Just opened the door and told me to run. Like it was all a joke. Marcus moved to his friend, gripping his shoulder. We're going to protect her. Federal surveillance is on your grandmother's house right now. Surveillance doesn't stop fire, Ray said. Surveillance doesn't stop accidents. Diego's people are good at making things look natural. Which is why we're doing this, Marcus said firmly. Why we're testifying. Why we're putting him in prison where he can't hurt anyone anymore. Ray looked at him with hollow eyes. And how long will that take? Walsh said months, maybe a year. How long can federal agents watch my grandmother? How long before they decide she's not worth the resources? Nobody had an answer for that. The radio crackled again. Team 1, this is command. You are go for approach. Repeat, you are go for approach. Johnson checked her watch. It's time. Everyone moved to the window. Agent Reeves pulled the Venetian blinds aside slightly, giving them a view of the street. In the distance, Marcus could see the sun setting over the city, the sky burning red and orange. In the Bronx, NYPD officers were approaching Diego Santos's building, knocking on his door, about to extract Mrs. Santos from her son's apartment. Carmen pressed against the window, her breath fogging the glass. Miguel stood behind her, his hands on her shoulders. Tommy and Ray flanked them. Marcus checked his mother's watch one more time, 7 p.m. They're knocking now, Johnson said quietly, listening to the radio. Officers identified themselves, requesting to speak with Maria Santos. Carmen's breath hitched. Miguel's grip on her shoulders tightened. Diego is answering the door, Johnson continued, asking why they're there. Officers explaining it's a routine welfare check following his missing person report. The seconds stretched. Marcus could hear his own heartbeat, loud in his ears. He's refusing entry, says his mother is sleeping and doesn't want to be disturbed. Carmen made a small sound of distress. Officers are insisting. Federal magistrate has authorized the welfare check. They have legal authority to speak with Mrs. Santos. More silence. Marcus realized he was holding his breath. He's letting them in. Officers are entering the apartment. The radio went quiet. Everyone in the safe house was frozen, listening to the static, waiting for the next update. Then, we have visual on Mrs. Santos. She appears unharmed. Officers are speaking with her now. Carmen's knees buckled. Miguel caught her, holding her up. Mrs. Santos she's crying, asking about Carmen. Diego is telling her Carmen was kidnapped. Mrs. Santos is asking the officers if it's true. Let me talk to her, Carmen said suddenly. Please. Let me talk to my mother. Johnson hesitated, then nodded to Martinez. Set up the call. Martinez pulled out a cell phone, dialing quickly. This is Agent Martinez. Put me through to the officers on scene. A pause. Yes, I understand. Tell Mrs. Santos her daughter wants to speak with her. We have Carmen Santos here voluntarily. She's safe. Another pause. Then Martinez handed the phone to Carmen. Carmen's hand shook as she took it. Mama? The sound that came from the phone was unintelligible. Sobbing. Spanish too rapid to follow. Carmen responded in Spanish, her voice breaking. Mama, I'm okay. I'm safe. I wasn't kidnapped. I left on my own. I had to leave, Mama. I had to get away from Diego. More crying from the phone. Diego's voice in the background, angry and insistent. Mama, listen to me. Diego isn't who you think he is. He's been lying to you, to both of us. The things he does, the money he has, it's from drugs, Mama, from heroin. I saw it. I helped him package it. I didn't know what it was at first, but then I realized, and I couldn't stay there anymore. Silence from the phone. Then a single word, barely audible. Verdad? Sí, Mama, es verdad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you sooner. But I'm safe now. The federal agents are protecting me, and they want to protect you too. The police officers who are there, they can take you somewhere safe. Away from Diego. Please, Mama. Please come to me. The silence stretched. Marcus could hear Diego's voice getting louder, more insistent. Then Mrs. Santos spoke, her voice stronger. Where are you? I can't tell you that yet, but I'm safe. And if you come with the police officers, they'll bring you to me. I promise, Mama. I promise you'll be safe. Another pause. Then, okay, Misha. Okay, I'll come. Carmen's sob of relief was audible throughout the room. Thank you, Mama. Thank you. I love you. Te amo, Carmen. Te amo. The call ended. Carmen handed the phone back to Martinez, then collapsed into Miguel's arms, her whole body shaking with sobs. Miguel held her, his own eyes wet. The radio crackled. Mrs. Santos has agreed to leave with us. We're escorting her out now. Diego Santos is. He's not interfering. Repeat, subject is not interfering with extraction. Copy that, Johnson responded. Bring her to the safe house. ETA? 45 minutes. Johnson lowered the radio, her expression carefully neutral. It's done. Mrs. Santos is safe. The relief in the room was palpable. Tommy sank into the couch. Ray's hands finally stopped twitching. Marcus felt something loosen in his chest, a tension he hadn't realized he was carrying. But as he looked at Carmen, sobbing in Miguel's arms, at the exhaustion on everyone's faces, at the watch that told him his mother would be getting home from work in an hour to find him missing, Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. They'd won this battle. They'd gotten Mrs. Santos out. But the war with Diego Santos was far from over. And tomorrow morning, when Carmen stood before a federal magistrate and confirmed her cooperation, Diego would know for certain that his sister had betrayed him. That's when the real danger would begin.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.